Hey y'all. So I wanted to make a quick video and explain what's going on here. Welcome to your first year of drum lessons. If you haven't met me yet, my name is Penny Larson. I have been drumming really for my whole life. I started studying drumming when I was 8, when my mom put me in drum and bugle corps, and I started taking drum set lessons when I was 12, and I started teaching when I was 16. And let's just say that was a long time ago. So in that time, I've, taught probably a few thousand students, and most of my students are beginners. And so I felt like something that I could do that might be helpful for not only as a resource for my students who come to study with me, and then maybe after their third lesson they forget what we worked on, and so that week they're kind of stuck. So now they'll have a video resource. So if you're one of my students, welcome, hey. But also, this is for y'all, right? So this is going to be a weekly program, 2 lessons a week. I mentioned in one of my announcement videos that there'll be a video that drops on Wednesday at noon Eastern time. That'll be music theory, reading, that kind of thing, technique, rudiments, snare drum studies, all that kind of good stuff we can do mostly on the pad, right? And then on Fridays at noon, there'll be a drum set lesson, which at first will be really simple: coordination, counting, identifying the parts of the drum set. There we might talk about tuning, we'll talk about independence, we'll talk about coordination as the year goes on. So they'll be broken into 2 parts. That's pretty much how I run my my private lessons. Is a student comes in, we'll do some stuff, warm up or theory or whatever on the pad, and then we'll spin around and we'll do stuff on the drum set. And so these lessons will be broken into those 2 sections. I am going to assume that you all are perfect students. So that means every week I'm going to assume that you have mastered what came the week before. I can tell you that in the real world, this rarely happens, okay? Sometimes, it's tough for a student to practice one week, or they're going through a stretch where they're having trouble finding motivation, or we hit something that's really giving them a lot of trouble, and so the pace will slow down, right? I encourage you, even though this is going to be set up as a 52-week program, I encourage you to take your time, right? If we get to something and it takes you a few weeks to master one of these lessons, by all means, sit with it until you really get it, right? Because learning any skill is cumulative, right? And so we're going to be building on top of the lessons that come before. And so if we talk about, pick something. If we talk about accents, say, one week, if you don't know what those are yet, congratulations, we'll get there in a couple weeks. If we talk about accents, and then 2 weeks later we talk about paradiddles with accents or a specific accent pattern, if you haven't really gotten comfortable with the technique of accents, it's going to be tricky for you to move into the next section, right? So feel free to go at your own pace. I am assuming that each lesson happens after mastery of the previous lesson, and stuff will build on top of the previous, maybe something from 3 weeks ago will be needed for now, right? I think that's pretty much it. I'm really excited about this program. I hope you are too. If you have questions, if you need me to clarify something, please feel free. There will be exercises a lot of times printed materials that I will include. Either if it's something of mine, I will include a PDF link, and if it's a resource that I've gotten from somewhere else, I will include a link to where you can get it. If there's a book that I think we should get, I'll talk about that too. I can think of at least one book, maybe a couple, off the top of my head that I'm probably going to recommend fairly early on as helpful resources for our work together. I've worked with a lot of students that just the financial burden of lessons themselves is a problem, and so having them buy books is a stretch for them. So I think I'm going to say you'll be able to get through these 52 weeks without books at all, if books are a problem for you. Either if you're somewhere in the world where accessing them is difficult, or if it's a financial stretch for you. The whole point of these lessons is that they're free, okay? One last thing I want to talk about is, so these are, video lessons. I can't react to you. You can't react to me other than rewind. If you have access to a private teacher in real person, or honestly, even Skype lessons, both of those are going to offer very different things than what I can offer in these lessons, right? This is going to be kind of a rote curriculum, which just means, as I said a few minutes ago, I'm assuming you're a perfect student, and I'm assuming you're the average student, and I'm assuming, an average set of interests. And so this is what I think makes sense from week to week, okay? If you're working with an instructor in real life, that instructor is going to have a much better sense of what you need, what makes you excited, right? What interests you have. You're going to have a better, just better feedback from them, and you're going to have more ability to discuss your goals with them. Okay. Like I said, I'm always open. Feel free to leave comments or send messages. But the point of this is that it's going to be a kind of generic program, right? So I'd like to think of this as a nice addendum to the work you might do with a private instructor. But yeah, if you have the opportunity to work with a real person in a room, you should do that. Oh my God, you should do that. So yeah, I think that's it. Something you should know about these videos is they're going to be unscripted. I thought a lot about being tight with the script, and I just don't think that is going to work for the way I teach. I will have, the things we're going to talk about each day, but these will be pretty loose, right? So expect pauses and ums, and I know that's weird on the internet nowadays. There's an but I apologize. It just seems to be how I teach best and how I communicate best, is kind of letting myself ramble here and there. These won't be the most succinct lessons on the internet. If you want those, I'm sure you can find those. Sometimes I think my stories are instructive and informative, and sometimes I just need to get them out. So I think that's it. So yeah, today at noon, the first lesson is going to drop, and be prepared. The first couple lessons are going to be very basic, right? If you've been playing at all, you're probably going to find the first couple lessons really boring and unnecessary. Hopefully, quickly it'll ramp up into stuff that you'll find wicked useful. And if you're a stone cold beginner, well, welcome. We're hopefully going to go at a pace that won't be overwhelming. Yeah, I'm super excited. All right, let's go. Thank you so much, and I'll see you today at noon. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to get notified of these videos as I release them. All right, take care, y'all.